he was the area's first non-native permanent resident, and even back then, oh, you're not hearing me in the back, Captain Keith, they're not hearing. The plan itself had a lot of amenities in it that have been implemented around the city, but the bridge was one of the important ones because it opened up Chicago. The clock tower is based loosely on the design of the Giralda Tower that's on the cathedral in Seville, Spain, so a bit of a derivative like Spanish Renaissance, and a conglomerate. The Chicago Tribune, our local newspaper, which by the way billed itself by architects from 23 different countries even. The winner was from New York City, Hood and Howells. Over to the right, behind the trees, design of the French Gothic. It was completed in 1920. Oriented. Not enough time to talk more about it, but we're on our way. Another style, that was a 1928 building, another style though that dominated after our World's Fair that we held in 1893, the World's Columbian Exposition. What a beautiful example of Beaux-Arts. Right next to it is another classically inspired Gothic cathedral. In fact, I call this our Gothic rocket. Because notice the telescopes, the Stratosphere Lounge speakeasy. Guys Vanderohe, people from Germany on the boat. We wooed him here from Germany. He came here in 1938 to head up what came. The gray building is 35 West Wagner, home to Leo Burnett Advertising Agency. It was designed by an agency that works there. Brought us quality. It was built 20 years before the two big boys on either side of it, but because of the design, it really holds its own between the two. I'll show you some more later. This big building on the left here was built in two cornice or capital up at the top like an old Greek column. But look how it ties into Chicago. When you see the piers at Navy, or the towers at Navy Pier, they'll look like these a little bit, or like the bridge towers, and a bridge between them, which is a reference to the bridge here on the water. Down from that bridge up there is a prairie-style curve. It's a convex curve. We should have all our mirrors convex because it makes you look skinnier. But anyway, it reflects the surroundings, and it's the color of the river. Our river's always green because you've got your maps. 500 truckloads of insulation that they discovered was matted horsehair at the end of Kinsey Park. But look at the river, this that wasn't always the case in Chicago. If you look right now, we have Texans on the boat. Our Mayor Daley at the time, in the 90s, went to San Antonio, Texas. Was very much inspired by the Riverwalks in San Antonio. When he came back to Chicago after that trip, he saw to it that the city passed an ordinance that any new construction along the river had to have a Riverwalk that was publicly accessible. When our Mayor Daley thought we needed something, we usually did it. See you on the way back. Up ahead about the white building on the right with that triangular windbrace, Erie on the Park. It's on the designed by Lucien Lagrange, who came to Chicago time. They were building, or they had designed, and the John Hancock building was of wind bracing, because Montgomery Ward, head of the company, had a very egalitarian attitude. So you'll see the influence of the Prairie School style of architecture, very horizontal, even some Sullivan-esque kind of ornamentation there. It's a little joke we tell. But at one time, the EPA is cleaned up by them. But anyway, at one point in time, see this old rail bridge right here that's always in the upright position like that? We were told not to crack any jokes about that, so I won't. You see this used to take the big rolls of newsprint down to the Sun-Times building where they printed the newspaper where the Trump Tower now stands, no longer used. And straight ahead, the big black building with the two white antennae in the center, Willis Tower. That's a London-based insurance group that bought the name one. Straight ahead, all the same firm. The dark glass one, 2002. Now, when they designed that, they gave it a rather demure design because they didn't want it more commercial. North Branch, more residential nowadays building. You can see the grid of how that baby was put together. And typically air conditioning and high wattage light bulbs. So building design was wall here. That's the theater portion. Theater's not going to support a big building like this, so they put offices in it, surrounding it to support the investors of that project. But this is where the Lyric performs, and they're doing splendidly. They were founded in 1954. That's my giant throne-shaped Art Deco building. On the Wacker side is a beautiful pedestrian arcade. And contextual in design, somewhat, with the Opera House. The neighboring building on the left here is the Chicago Mercantile. Its twin is now on your right. Just a regular repetitive pattern of office cells. There's no added ornamentation. That kind of building interior space would remain very flexible. Traded before they built their building across the river, early 70s. By the 1980s, less is more, which was Mises for a deal. They only had air above their tracks. Nothing not to like about making money on air, right? For the movie, because that roadway we just went under goes right through the center of that building. Great Chicago fire. 100,000 people, a third of the entire population, was left homeless, and it destroyed over 17,000 picture a gigantic tic-tac-toe board and then enclose it. That's the footprint of the Sears Tower, which is to the 50th floor. Then they start dropping all the time when I do hood ornaments. Well, Cone Patterson Funk, 1990, tallest reinforced concrete building in the world, and the brightest light to migrate through Chicago every year. And they cannot be affected by bright lights in the towers. Logo. And notice the truss work that's on the roof of the lower portion of that postmodern reprise of the Art Deco period. Adrian Smith of SOM designed that one too. And heads up to you people in the bow, because pretty soon we're going to get to the Lyric Opera Bridge, the next bridge. If you look again, about too much like a cash register. So we put it here in 1987, but the inspiration for this design came from one of the sphinxes on the arms of that plaza. You know, back to King Tut again, they strapped it like wheel. Discovered during the design phase of this west corner of the lower portion of the building, due to the density and configuration of the railroad tracks, they came up straight, started to curve, impossible. So he either had to, on Randolph Street, entrance. That building was windowless below the name originally because it was the apparel center, and the apparel people didn't want a lot of sunlight coming through the windows and fading their goods. Now different tenants had moved in and they put in windows for them. And Pretty City and Associates right on this little center with Holiday Inn on the top. Now it's connected to ornamentation designed by Alfred Shaw of GAPW for Marshall Fields. They wanted to combine the Chicago School building, original warehouse, now offices. Booth Hansen did the added jazzy pavilion on the top more recently. DIRT stands for Do It Right This Time. It's an, you ever heard that? Office furnishing system. And our newest skyscraper, we have people from Connecticut on the boat. Pickard Chilton, firm from Connecticut, designed this gold LEED certified office building, 2009 building. They didn't have the American Bar Association now occupies the teal-colored skyscraper on the left, which originally was designed for Quaker Oats by during Prohibition, I guess, and it was kind of an in-your-face champagne bottle. Go in there for a drink in the lobby, great bar. Marina City here on the left. Bertrand was his mentor, and on the left, 330 North Wabash, Mies van der's last American design. You people from 330 building offices, but they're going to convert about the first 12. Daily told the Donald, "You're spired," and it has the spire up there. It's good to Lohan.